And a good afternoon to you, rugby fans. Welcome to Providence, Rhode Island. It is the matchup at Marvel. It's a Liberty Conference matchup. It's an Ivy League matchup. It is Brown at home against the Crimson of Harvard. I'm John Broker with the contact coach, Craig Wilson, here in Providence for this one. It's going to be a great matchup today, Craig.
Yeah, really excited for this one. Nothing better than an Ivy League matchup. This one's going to be a good one.
It's going to be a great game to see the teams warming up. We'll look at Harvard there, getting themselves ready to go. We'll talk about their coaching staff in just a moment, what they bring on. You see some of the key players for the Brown Bears team getting ready to warm up here at Marvel Field. This is the coaching staff. It's a contrast in coaches here as we take a look at Eddie O'Sullivan and Dave LaFlamme, coaches at Brown.
Yeah, so Eddie O'Sullivan, international experience. You got Dave LaFlamme, 25 years at Brown, very, very experienced team.
He's a very experienced coach, like I said, 25 years in the program under Jay Fluke. He got started, the director of rugby emeritus, joined by a couple other coaches, Ryan Grant, Oliver Julian, and now we're looking at Colton Cariaga, first-year coach at Harvard.
Yeah, so coming from live from some D1 teams over to Harvard to kickstart their program. So he's coming from a much younger school from the coaching world, but he's on his way up.
Certainly is, and we'll see what he has done in a short time with this Harvard Crimson team as we take a look at the talisman, Ollie Corbett.
Yeah, Ollie Corbett, he is the main guy in the pack for Brown. He's their leader. He's going to get them front football. Keep an eye on him today.
Nominated for Player of the Year in the USA last year. Ollie Corbett in the second row going to be a very important part of this Brown Bears team as they work towards another winning season in their estimation. Take a quick look at some lineups here. First, Harvard. Craig, give us some players to watch.
Yeah, number 5, Naholo. He is the one who's going to get that go forward ball for the Crimson. And then number 12, the freshman, Dan Erasmus. Just watch him trying to kick the ball, work through. He's just a real tough player.
Young players. Colton Cariaga will have them for 4 years there at Harvard. Keep an eye on this team. Number 8, Owen as well. Big runners. We take a look at the Brown lineup.
Yeah, so we mentioned Corbett there, but also Antonio Estevez, number 8. He is a talisman off the back of that scrum. What Brown build on, so keep an eye on from those big, strong runs.
Keep an eye on number 10, Jake Dyer as well. Big boom and boot, as well as Rafael Lansanur. Lansanur played a lot of fly half last year out in the center position. A great lineup here for Brown. We are almost ready to go here at Marvel Field. Lined up, you're going to see the Brown Bears coming from left to right on your screen in the striped jerseys. And then the solid black and a little bit of red is going to be Harvard running from right to left.
Captain.
Referee gets us
Captain.
almost set to go. Very good referee today, as you see, wearing number 15 there, Rafael Lansanur, to get us going. Referee Diego Villalobos whistles us underway here at Marvel Field. Electing to kick are the Brown Bears, receiving at their own 22, the Crimson. Crimson looking to make a good start. Adrian Guzman, the scrum half, puts it back.
Stop.
Kicking early there from Geneser. Ball back to Lansanur. Lansanur in the back of the field on defense here. Just puts a little pop pass up there. Doesn't really go anywhere as Joey Perriello pounces on it. The referee Villalobos spots an early knock-on. It's going to be a scrum here to Brown.
You can see in the backfield there, just take a look at the pitch. It's a little bit muddy. It's a bit slippery underfoot, so that might have a bearing on how this game goes, particularly from this early scrum that's about to start.
Look at this here. Ready to get underway. Referee Villalobos to get us underway here.
Front. Bind.
Referee calling us together with a late change here, so it's Keigo Hachisuka coming in for Dylan Lewis in the scrum half position for Brown. Dylan Lewis had to pull out at warm-ups there just as a precaution. Hachisuka certainly an able replacement for him as Jimmy Phelan comes onto the bench for Brown. Referee Villalobos finding a dry spot perhaps on this field. Craig, get us underway again.
Yeah, it might be a tough one, but Brown's big go-forward machine is their scrum, so they're going to be looking to turn the screw, particularly the front row in the first 90 seconds are going to be licking their lips that they get a chance to scrimmage. So Harvard's got to really stay strong here, stay tight, try and repel it.
Bind. Sit. Hold.
Let's get going again. Scrum goes down. Antonio Estevez, the Portuguese player at number 8.
All right.
Get a quick early run in there, but nothing happening. They're going to come back up. They're going to settle down again in this muddy ground.
Be patient.
Estevez, a
Don't push
very
her.
storied
Wait for the
player.
ball, okay?
Just found out his father captained the Portuguese national team. That's something I was unaware of.
Yeah, and Portugal they had a tough game against Wales right now in the World Cup. That's cool to have international experience.
Crouch. Bind. Hey, shoulders. Sit.
Run together again, see what happens. You see Harvard's number 18 there, Will Haggerty, getting pushed down a little bit. Estevez off the back. Estevez finds some early room, barrels his way over one, caught right at the halfway line in a bit of a puddle of mud there. Harvard players working their way in through Owen. And get the ball loose. Looks like Al Hasso comes in. Suka finds runners outside. Big forward is barreling through the middle there. To Suka. There's a player underneath him, but able to get it away to Dyer. Dyer moves it out to Lansanur. They're looking a little wide out here. Ball nicely out into the hands there, out in the corner. They have some space to run. Player wasn't held, so referee Villalobos says that's fine. You can play it. Now it's going into touch. Line out here for the Crimson.
Yeah, some early intent from Harvard, particularly at the breakdown. I've noticed that guys are really trying to counter ruck to try and slow that Brown momentum, and they actually did a really good job. So just watch Harvard just trying to slow that ruck down just so we can get their defense set.
Brown. That's your mark over here, please.
Front in the red headgear.
Black, please. That's your mark over here.
You know
right?
what Harvard's going to do with that. Harvard will twist into the
Gentlemen.
number 1 there, lets his hooker.
Inside the line out.
Aldrich
Inside
know
the
what
line
they'd
out.
like to have happen. Harvard seems to be a little confusion there. Good work by Brown to take that one away. Another Brown attack is on the cards right now. Early in the game, just about 4 minutes gone. Ali Corbett takes a few with him. Players just stuck in there, so we have penalty advantage against Harvard for not rolling away. Good result for Brown here.
Yeah, if you just watch Ollie Corbett, he's just shown his experience there. First of all, a really good run. But as that ruck was developing, he was holding players on top of him. Really smart. So it just shows to a referee that those players are not rolling away. So first of all, nice bit of footwork. Good strong carry. He gets the yards after contact. Look how he falls here, how he wraps his arm around. So he's locking them in, and that's not rolling away. A well-worked penalty. Very smart.
Wily move there from Corbett. Dyer pushes them downfield. They're now inside the Harvard 22. First line out of the game in that end of the field for the Bears.
Check it out.
Bears will look to capitalize on this. They've got runners stacked outside here, as you can see. Balls up to Estevez. Estevez turns to go straight. As the Harvard forwards didn't come in and make contact with that. Now through the back to Dyer they go, looking for some runners out in the middle of the field. The ball bounces at the 22. It's still alive. Aaron Mertzel has a hold of that ball. Out they come. Jua, the freshman, wearing number 15, takes that ball. Moves it, wearing number 13, pardon me. We're going to come back here for another penalty against the Crimson.
Stay up, please.
Dyer puts it to the boot. They'll have a line out right at the 5-meter line. Another opportunity here to score.
Yeah, this is classic Brown rugby here. Just squeezing, just playing the territory, playing the set piece. Looks like he had all rights to that ball there, but the referee deemed that he wasn't legal. But a little unlucky there from Harvard.
Line out coming for the Bears. 5-meter line of the Crimson. Referee Villalobos, just making sure everything is set here. Referee. Portland, Maine area. Corbett has that ball, and now the Crimson have to engage with this one. Driving it forward to the Brown Bears, methodically working towards that line. There's the touch line. They have to get it away. Hachukuka has to take it. Ball bounces off a foot there into Harvard's hands, and right on the spot is Robbie Owen. Robbie Owen, neuroscience major from London in the UK, gets that ball out. Just kicked away. There's numbers out wide here for the Bears. They want to use it. They are going to look wide this time. A couple of works through the hands there. Suka one more time. Dyer feeds some waiting forwards. Looks like Estevez taking that one in. All the big boys. They saw Rosenmeyer, the freshman, comes in over that. Local boy as well. Played with the US U18s. past, now playing for Brown University. Nice little handoff there from the Bears. Bears working this way back to their 40-meter line, losing some ground here. We need to get something done. They've got two runners hit hard there. The Crimson certainly came to play this one today. Ball's back inside the 50. Up with Rosenmeyer. Harvard in there, digging that one away, but ball eventually comes for the Bears. Steves looks for a little offload there. Corbett. There's Adua, the freshman. He puts in a little, probably not welcome offload there. A little fast and loose with the ball. The Bears in the minute might concentrate this one down as Akasuka looks for the box kick. Winds up in the hands of the Harvard Crimson. Cullen Rogers has a hold of that ball. Gets it back to Guzman. The boot to go the Bears. Ball just stuck in the mud there, not really moving. They're going to come across field with this. There's Lansanur. Lansanur can put some space on that ball as they go to the boot. Bears looking down inside the 40-meter line of Harvard. Harvard well positioned, however. Connor Burns takes that one. Burns, the math major from Warren Point, Ireland. Playing for the Crimson now. There's Owen, driven back in the tackle by the Bears this time. Crossfield they come, looking to get some room in. A bit isolated and on his own is one of the Crimson players. The referee, Visha Lobos, is going to come back, puts an offsides against Brown or something else. A penalty here for the Crimson.
Well, that was an exhausting piece of play there. That ball was in for a long period of time. But massive credit to the Harvard defense, and particularly number 9, Guzman. Just watch how he's inserting himself in the line, but at very different places. And that's putting a lot of pressure on. So I've been really impressed, first of all, with Harvard's tackling, but also their counter-rucking has been excellent. And that's slowing all the Brown momentum.
It looks like Coach Cariaga, just game as a coach here at Harvard is really keen on that contact area as a place he wants them to be disruptive against a team like Brown.
Oh, absolutely. Defense is one of the easier sides of the ball to fix. Attack takes a little bit of time, but you want to make your defense really tough to break down. And then that gives you a lot of purchase into the game. So no surprise he's working on his defense.
Ball coming in from the Crimson. They go up to the middle of the lineup, but taken away by the Bears. Bears, very good defensively, the line out here, but there was a knock on according to the referee. And then another one. See who he awards this to. I think it's going to be a Brown scrum.
And this is the area where Brown thrive. They're all about their set piece, both with the ball and defend. And you can see that they do a lot of work in this area. Very experienced players, not just athletes. And they put a lot of pressure on teams through their set piece. And that's exactly what's been happening in this first 10 minutes.
We are almost at the 10-minute mark here. Defending champions, national champions, Brown take on the Harvard Crimson. Crimson lost a key player in Ryan Santos last season, but bringing a great coach, Colton Cariaga. Make some big strides of the program. Here comes the Brown scrum. We have gotten used to seeing driving through, must have a penalty advantage here at this point. Dyer has one runner coming in, gets it out the back to Lansanur. Lansanur slips in the mud. Back for the penalty against Harvard at the scrum.
Looks like Brown Bears have not missed a beat over the summer. They won a national championship off the back of their scrum particularly. And you can just see Harvard are on ice skates going backwards there. And it's such a hard thing to stop once that team has momentum. You've got to remember as well, Brown are probably used to play, well, they are used to playing on their home turf. So they've probably got bigger studs on their cleats, where Harvard are used to playing on turf. And I'm sure a lot of them are just wearing their turf cleats. They're going to be having a tough day.
Yeah, certainly going to be tough for the scrum as that ball goes out on the other side here at Marvel Field. Beautiful Providence, Rhode Island. 11 minutes gone in this Ivy League / Liberty Conference matchup. Going to be a line out at the 40-meter line of the Crimson to the Brown Bears. We'll see where they go with this one. Nothing on the board yet.
And interestingly, the last against Dartmouth as well for Harvard. Defensively, sometimes they've not been competing and they're just letting it go. Let's see if they do it again. It looks like they've done the same and not competing.
Draw that way in, and Steves comes down with it. Ball's the back of the maul for the Bears. Bears looking to drive this one forward. Hachisuka patiently waiting at the back. Harvard players trying to get their hands in there. It's starting to break. Ball to Hachisuka. Like a little throw forward there, so it's going to be a Crimson scrum here. Good result for Harvard after that.
Yeah, huge result. Good effort. They stayed on the floor from the line out so they can repel the maul. That's exactly what happened then. Although Brown got a bit of a shunt on, they stayed in the fight. They're causing a little bit of chaos. And this ball's slippery and muddy, so any pressure you can put on to dislodge it is going to really amplify. That's what happens here. Look, it just stays in, just be's a little bit awkward. The ball squirts out. They've won themselves a scrum. Big moment.
Ball! Shoulder.
Well, you don't always want to scrum against the Brown Bears. You can see Will Haggerty there, a number up, getting driven well by Rosenmeyer. Rosenmeyer, the freshman, playing tight head. Ball squirts out there. It's at the back. Hachisuka's just kind of staring at it. Didn't realize what happened. JT Dyer gets a hold of it because it's turned over by the Crimson. Crimson through Guzman. Move that one wide out the back.
Stop. Stop.
Long
Stop.
raking kick down into Brown territory. Lansanur controlled the back of the field as he normally does. They've got runners on the width here. Cortabaria has a hold of it. They switch that one back in to Max Donahue. Donahue gets it out there to Estevez. Estevez, Brown players looking for these offloads, not working in the mud here. Turned over another one to the Harvard Crimson. Cullen Rogers had the hold of it. Rogers, the Rockland, Mass native. Big break for the Crimson. Crimson through Dan Erasmus. Erasmus from Zimbabwe, a great player. Freshman has joined the ranks there. Takes it down inside the 22 of the Brown Bears. Looks like I might have slipped forward, however.
Yeah, only his second game for the Crimson. Dan Erasmus, he's looking very sharp. He's shifted to 12. He was 10 last week. But just look at his low center of gravity. He powers through. And not only that, he's got the awareness to get the offload in. He's a very dangerous player. Harvard need to get the ball in his hands with a beautiful offload there. Just a little bit forward. But you've got to appreciate the endeavor there from Harvard, really, to take it to Brown.
Certainly working with their key players. We go on here, 66 and a little bit windy with rain showers on the edge of Hurricane Lee here that's been working its way off the coast. So bit of wind, bit of rain coming in today. That could play a factor during the game. You can see the muddy track there. From a little bit of rain at Marvel Field as Brown gets another one in. Probably looking again to get a scrum penalty here. I'm sure they have, as those Harvard players have just disintegrated around it. Owen picks it up. Referee says play on, however, no penalty. But this time not releasing as Pitbaldo gets in over that ball. A penalty for the Bears.
Yeah, that seemed a very strange call. The Harvard scrum was going backwards at a rate of knots. It disintegrated, and then it looked like they broke off before the ball was out. But hey, look, the referee's has a final decision, and Brown have just got to roll with that one.
Downfield they go. It's still inside their own half. Held scoreless by the Crimson. First 15 minutes here.
Yeah, Harvard have been defending for their lives, and that's a lot of character. What Coach Cariaga is going to be really looking to as they start to rebuild this program. So lots of character shown so far, but this defending the whole time, John, does take its effect. The accumulation does make you more tired. So let's see if Brown can capitalize on that.
Ball down there for the Bears. Bears ball in hand at their own 40-meter line. You said a lot of attacking here. Get the ball to Casper Pitbaldo. Pitbaldo, key player on this team, London-born, went to King's College School in Wimbledon. Estevez ball in hand again, putting that ball in one hand, taking a bit of his strength away, gets his feet to the ground, eventually his knees to the ground. So they have to release, but Brown trying to go a little bit fancy a little early here. Times working against him, but a penalty for this player, clearly not rolling away. So here go the Bears through Hachisuka. Hachisuka, player at not 10 there for the Crimson. They'll have another penalty a little further up, should they choose to use it. Merchel is going to move, Cortabaria is going to move that one ahead. And the distributor roll there, forwards in, getting set. Hachisuka coming back. Gets the ball to Lansanur. Lansanur in the first receiver position. Gets the ball to Estevez. Estevez this time takes it directly in, works the ball back. Estevez from Lisbon, Portugal. Ball coming wide from Dyer. Nice left-handed pass there to one of the big boys. Nice work, but thrown a little forward, it looked like, by Al-Jandari. Football stadiums across the field. Got itself a little confused for a second there.
Absolutely. It just seems like when Brown are getting the ball out wider, like it just doesn't seem very dynamic. It's quite slow right now.
Didn't rotate 10 meters. Or I could tap. Talk to them. This is not allowed. We are in this area. Okay, so that's just a warning. Okay.
Referee just having a word there.
Yeah, it looks like just the accumulation of penalties that Harvard are starting to give away now. So it looks like we've just given it a team warning. So now Harvard are on thin ice if they give away another penalty, regardless of what penalty it is. But Brown are really going to have to sharpen up in those 15-meter channels. They're just not looking very dynamic right now.
Yeah. Gentlemen, listen. Listen.
It's absolutely no surprise that they've taken the scrum from this penalty. They're going to be looking to try and put a big shunt on here, earn another penalty, and probably with that a yellow card. So let's see how this scrum develops.
Boy! Set!
Looking for the scrum advantage here. Driving straight through is that very powerful Brown University set of forwards. Referee Villalobos has his hand out for the advantage now. Estevez goes to the ground with penalty advantage. Ali Corbett coming off the left-hand side. Corbett switches the ball back in. Corbett finds a runner. Runner's inside the 22. Brown Bears on the move here to Lansanur. Lansanur looking wide. Player just a little bit isolated out there, so comes back in. Smart thinking from the Bears. Ball comes across. There's Corbett. Holds on the ball, foregoing a little tip pass there. Piling in are the Harvard Crimson. They're going to come back and take that penalty.
The scrum tournament.
And I'm surprised he hasn't went for the yellow card here, particularly after the warning. Maybe with all the ground that Brown made up, he might have forgotten about it. But look, Brown are just really squeezing it now, particularly around set piece. I would not be surprised. Yep, they're choosing the scrum once again, but just really trying to turn the screw. And why not? Play to your strengths, John.
Absolutely. Interesting change here at number 3 from last year to this year. Such an effective player is Asa Rosenmeyer already as a freshman, as they lost Dan Archer, one of their key players and a very strong tight head last year.
Yeah, huge shoes to fill. Dan Archer, incredible player for Brown. But now it's an opportunity to rebuild and keep the dynasty going from a Brown point of view.
Rosenmeyer is a good man to build that on. Brown University scrum just outside the 22. They're getting a drive on the Crimson again. Crimson players popping up. No handout yet from the referee. Driving forward. That one spins around. They've got the penalty advantage. Open left-hand side of the field. They can find it here. We're going to come back to the penalty. A referee sees them spinning around. Wants to have a word here with the Harvard captain. So we'll hold off and listen into what the referee says.
I know that dominated the scrum. There's still a problem. You keep moving, which is good, but it's still going backward and start turning. You need to keep maintaining. Otherwise, I need to escalate it. All right? Make sense? Talk to the front row.
Looks like no card has been handed out. Just a pretty big warning there.
Yeah, the referee is very generous to Harvard right now. It is hard from a Harvard point of view if your scrum is not functioning. It really is tough. But if you were Brown, I'm sure the captain's having a little conversation going, how many penalties, sir? You know, just to get in. But if you notice that every single scrum, Brown are not looking to play it out wide. They are keeping it at Estevez's feet. They're just marching on and on and on. And they're just waiting for that dam to break. But look, 20 minutes in, it's still 0-0, John.
It's still 0-0. Great job by Harvard taking the fight to this team in the breakdown here. Brown won this game 59-0 last year, so a big difference coming there, of course.
Yeah, particularly in this opening stages. But defending a lot takes its toll, so let's see how the game develops.
Asuka gets us going again. Brown scrum, powering forward again. Rosenmeyer this time off his feet a little bit. Referee whistle that one up, says both players just came up on that side. Rosenmeyer at almost 6'4" and 270 pounds. Take a unit there from Belmont, Mass.
Hey lads, I know this is hard work. Keep it up, keep it up. Let's go, keep up the light work, boys. This is how it works, boys. This is how it works. Keep marching them. Seconds.
Rosenmeyer can fix the body height here, bring it down a little bit. Will Haggerty as well. Haggerty from Nashville, Tennessee. Economics and East Asian Studies major at Harvard. Taking on Rosenmeyer, the freshman.
Set!
Jasuka gets it in again, driving it again. Is this Harvard The Browns head forwards. Harvard going backwards. This time they're going to get it. JT Dyer hangs on. Puts a little ball up there to Cortabaria. Cortabaria gets to the 5-meter line and slips. The Belen Jesuit grad, now playing at Brown University along with his twin brother. Also on the Brown squad. Brown looking to the line now, looking for some points. They're in, they're over. Referee's there. Referee Villalobos awards the first 5 points of the game. We'll see who gets it. Finally on the board of the Brown Bears, and it looks like Joe Alhasso.
Yeah, you just sensed that was coming, John. They were building, they were just squeezing the life out of Harvard, who has been resisting extremely well. But when you don't have a set piece, it just puts everything on the back foot. And if we just look here, you can see the big men are going to work. So straight from that scrum, they're back on their feet. So that's an excellent bit of work rate. I mean, you can see as soon as they get in the 5-meter line, they've just got 2 men barging over, not going to stop them for there in these wet conditions. And that's 5 points, with probably 2 extras to come.
It was Alhasso on top there, so he's not the try scorer. It looks like Aljan Dari touched that one down. Good work there by the Bears. Aljan Dari being helped over by Alhasso there.
Yeah, just as we look back, just look at the forwards. They're just a really well-oiled machine from the Brown Bears. Great coaching from Coach DeFlam. And they're patient. Okay, they know what they're going to do. They get set. They're not rushing. They just get 2 bodies against 1. 2v1. Power gets through every single time. Easy try to give from a referee. But Harvard have certainly made Brown work, and they've just got to keep sticking at it.
As setting up to kick. Crimson 23 minutes in, now find themselves down 7-0 to the Brown Bears here at Marvel Field. Denisser ready to put that one off. Denisser gets us going again. Right to Estevez. Estevez doing one of the things he loves best, driving straight through someone. Player not rolling away quite from Harvard there, but referee says it's okay. They're going to run from inside their 22, try to hang on to this one. That's Alhasso. Alhasso from Reading, England, played for Brighton Rugby Club. Applied mathematics and economics major at Brown University. A couple extra forwards in here than normal. Hatsusuka going to go out to the right-hand side. Ball knocked down by one of the Harvard players, I believe intentionally.
Now,
Villalobos going to award the penalty.
If this isn't a yellow card, I don't know if a referee's going to give one today. Multiple team warnings, and then slapping the ball there for the interception he never had right. So Harvard are definitely getting away with this in terms of their discipline. But you've got to put pressure on. If you're getting away with it, just keep going with it. But you also notice at the ruck now, Harvard have been competing, but they're finding themselves getting caught the other side of a ruck. So we've got to be really clean that they roll away. But they're doing a good job of slowing it down.
5-man line out set up by the Bears. Alhasso put this one in. Corbett at the front. Straight to Corbett. Corbett captures a couple of Crimson players. They're driving forward, already about 8 meters. Now they made about 10. Brown Bears just working their way forward. Haggerty has to roll out of the wrong side there. Still alive, still moving. Referee Villalobos telling players to move out of the way. Scrum Mall has collapsed. Hatsusuka has a player on him, so it's a little time to move there. Alonso Noor puts a wide one out to the freshman. The freshman, Adua, gets to the just outside the 22. Very storied sevens player is Adua. So plays 15s, of course, playing here at Brown. The 2 freshmen on the field is Pitbaldo, the sophomore, gets a hold of that one. Pitbaldo knocks one off. Ball out to Lansanur. Lansanur on a little wraparound there, looking for some players, find themselves isolated, gets the offload away. Corbett's going to come in and clean that one up over JT Dyer, or Mertel, excuse me. Ball out here to Estevez. Estevez has company in his counterpart, number 8, Will Owen, or Robbie Owen, from the Crimson. Lansanur flat on the line. Corbett nearly got that one. We're going to penalty against the Brown Bears here. And Estevez decides to have a word to the referee. Referee is going to have a word to the captain.
Yes, Fez has got to be careful. He often does talk.
Let me explain the situation. What's a tackle? The player just coming around, try to tackle the player.
Yeah.
He was on the ground and grabbing the player.
Okay.
All right. That's why he fell down.
Okay.
So penalize him,
Yeah.
he get upset, and argue. So it's 10 more.
Penalise us,
All
10
right?
more.
Yeah.
I think our players are getting frustrated because at a lot of rucks, they're coming in really late, just cheap shots in the side. If you could just watch that, it would be appreciated.
Okay, yeah.
A little conversation there. Ali Corbett's such a bright player, understands the games really well. He can really work with referees in a positive way for his team.
Yeah, you can just see there that he was just having a chat, just letting them know what his thoughts are. Just the referee doesn't necessarily have to agree with him, but he's just letting them know that to keep an eye on it, and subconsciously the referee will probably look at it too. So smart captains there from Ali Corbett.
Please, don't delay this too
Ball
much.
just outside of their own 40-meter line for the Crimson. Have to get it back. Brown has been very good at taking these away. Estevez just does right there what he does. Gets the ball back for Brown. Brown on the attack. Much better of the set pieces today. Big Asa Rosenmeyer. Played at Belmont High School for Greg Bruce. Ali Corbett across the 40-meter line. Ali Corbett nearly finds himself free. Rolls an extra step there. Gets the ball back to Hachisuka. Gets it to Dyer. Dyer, not probably the kick we would have wanted, but we're going to come back here for a penalty against the Harvard Crimson in front of the post, about 40 meters out. We'll see what the Bears decide to do with this one.
Yeah, I suspect it would be a scrum. It's been going well, but they might all they're shaping up for the line out as well. Look, either set piece for Brown has been particularly dominant right now, so either option's good. We can kick it into the corner, see where we're at. But right now, it looks like Brown's controlling the midfield with their forward. But Harvard are having massive impact in the wider channels, particularly with their defense. So it's been a real good cat and mouse game so far.
Alhasso set this one in. Corbett at the front. Brown on the move again. Across the 22, starting to get a little momentum here. There's some Harvard rolling around the other side. Good drive coming. Ball well held at the back there. Corbett in the red scrum cap in the middle of that, ordering the players, letting them know what he wants. Ball working its way back. It's been taken back by one more player, driving towards the line they are. Looks like Estevez, ball in hand. Driving towards the line. Here come the Brown Bears. Can they get those next couple of steps? They cannot. Taken down right at the line is Estevez. Great opportunity here for the Bears. Sending some of the big boys through right away, but can't quite get there. That was Corbett with Cataldo on his back. Now big Asa Rosenmeyer at 6'4", 270. Just drops right in. Nobody in front of him.
Absolutely, and the Brown faithful are happy with that. And Harvard often refer them to themselves as the machine. I tell you what, Brown, this is the machine here. From line out, that driving maul, pushed it all the way through. And as you suspect, as they got into that 5-meter channel, that ball was not going any further out.
And 18-year-old here just pounces right over it. Saw the space in that defensive line. Nobody marking him. Defensive mistake there from Harvard, certainly.
Yeah, but when that maul's going forward at such a rate, you just get sucked in. It's really difficult from a defensive point of view. And then Brown, as we said, the well-oiled machine, they get that try. Had a good start, hasn't he, John?
Oh, certainly has. Add a lot of value to this program. Noor hangs that one up and hits it, so it's 14-0 as we take another look.
Yeah, Corbett there gets really close to the line. Forwards driving through, and then Rosemere, there he is. He's just on hand. The gap opened up for him like the Red Sea. Okay, the Crimson Sea, and he took it.
Rosenmeyer didn't have any youth rugby in the area that he grew up in, but his father played. So he says him and his brother would practice rugby, even though nobody played for about 5 years before he played his first actual game as a freshman in high school. So certainly in the blood and in the family. Father Eric, big rugby guy. Ball down to the Brown Bears at their own 22. Estevez put the little pass into Dua. He put the little pass out back to Rosenmeyer. Rosenmeyer probably not going to score from this distance. Across they come to Estevez again. Little tip passes starting to come in here for the Bears. Corbett. That one hits the ground, but referee Villalobos says that went back, so it's fine.
Good steal.
Nice work taken away there by Erasmus. Erasmus effective in the midfield right there, the freshman for the Crimson. Get the ball out from Guzman. Now ball just flipping around there. Referee says that's fine. They can continue to play. Good work, good presence of mind by the Brown Bears. That one gets knocked back. Ejua. Ejua playing a fullback for the Bears. Knocks that one on in the mud here. It'll be a scrum for the Harvard Crimson right at midfield about 9 minutes to go in the half.
Yeah, really impressed with number 12 for Harvard, Dan Erasmus. He is absolutely everywhere now. In attack and defense, he's turnover balls. So Bear Harvard has got to be looking to him to really lead this team. And as you can see, it's just a wet ball. It's a slippery ball. You've got to protect it. There's a few times in the wider channel now from the Brown point of view that they have knocked it on. But you've got to give credit to Harvard. They are winning those wider battles for sure.
Front. Boy.
Guzman, the plucky scrum half there. Into the proud 5'1" from Cicero, Illinois, playing it.
Seconds. Boys, everyone. Let's hear it. Second. Fine.
Guzman gets a set to go again. Ball back to Robbie Owen. Owen gets to Guzman. Away they go. Erasmus puts a move around the back. They've got a little space out here if they can get it. Onto the wing they go. Can they make this happen? Ball's in the hands of Noah Maeva. But not released. It's going to be Brown ball here. Guzman tries to run away with it, but good penalty drawn by the Brown Bears.
Yeah, it was a lively attack from Harvard, but really enjoyed that turnover. It was just great technique, great time, and he got himself there first, stayed strong, and won the penalties from the push defense. Just as we look back here, so we're on the push drift defense, just gets this timing really light. Look at that solid base, 2 players on the ball, and he's not even getting moved from the clear out. That was an excellent, excellent turnover.
For the Bears. Push this one forward as we see some dogs enjoying the afternoon in Providence. Not paying as much attention to the game as they ought to be. Gets a barn burner. Here go the Brown Bears driving across the 40-meter line. Diving forward there. Good work by Oliver Beeling. Haven't seen tons of Oliver yet from Warwick, New York. His high school rugby team. Suka finds Dyer. Dyer gets it to Noor. Quickly off to the side they go. Looking to get the ball out there to the danger man, Ejua, but can't get it to him. Ball nearly ripped away here by the Crimson. Ball is held up. It would be a Crimson scrum. They can't get to the ground, but they have. Brown should be able to recycle this. Suka finds Dyer again. Dyer finds a runner. Hit Baldo. Working a little bit towards the center of the field there. Ball up Hachisuka, Ali Corbett. Ali Corbett shows and then goes around the side. Again, the little offload just not working for the Brown Bears as they knock that one on. It's going to be another scrum here for Harvard.
Yeah, been a big Achilles heel for Brown Bears right now. As soon as they get into the 15 channels, it seems to break down, but that's because of the pressure that Harvard's putting them under. And they're just throwing that ball away. They're trying to force it a little bit too much from an attacking point of view. You've got to respect the opposition and the weather conditions. And Coach LaFlamme is going to be pretty disappointed with the conversion rate right now.
Scrum here for the Harvard Crimson. Have to withstand the Brown pressure, try to get this one clean as we have 5 minutes on the game clock in the first half here at Marble Field.
It's hardly a reward, is it, for all your good work, having to compete against a Brown scrum?
I know this feeling all too well on both sides, frankly. Driving back at miles per hour are the Harvard Crimson. Estevez gets it to Hachisuka. Hachisuka gets it Dyer. Nice little held pass there. They've got some runners. They want to keep coming in this direction, and they do. Looking to go wide. Hewitt gets it out. The channels again. Said just slipping a little bit out there. Good Harvard defense out wide. Brown want to just go through their system a little more as they get it in the middle here. Nice hit on Estevez. He's got Corbett. Tony Zhao in number 6 jersey out there. Little wraparound play coming out to a pod that's wide. They get the ball in behind them. Ball turned over there to the Crimson. Crimson at their own 22. Players Brown trying to get in and over that one, but off his feet illegally, says the referee. The penalty to 22 for the Crimson.
Come on, fella. Come on, fella.
Hey, listen. Hey, please, don't throw the one, okay? Let's go. Yeah, that's okay. Just go, bye. Go. Dive on the player.
Max O'Donoghue there, the number 12 for Brown, has 2 brothers at Brown who both play in the program here.
You look back at this one, it gets a little bit messy, but Harvard turned the ball over and then not supporting his weight. You can see the hand was on the floor first. You've got to be able to stand up and show the referee you can keep your own weight. That was a clear picture there. And there's a little bit of afters. I think Brown's starting to get a little frustrated, John.
Yeah, I would say. He gets some more points on the board. Estevez can't rip that one away. Back to a penalty against him. Got his hand in there, tried to rip it down.
Pull the player. No, number 8 just pull
Good
the
work
player
by the Crimson. Crimson put it inside the Brown half.
As Brown looked to disrupt, they get a hand to it.
That's
Does he
a mark.
play? No, he doesn't play the ball. He plays the arm, and that's a penalty. You can only go for the ball there, so that's a great spot from the referee. Harvard a chance to have another line up further down the field. It's been turned
A little
over.
bit messy, and here goes Corbett. Corbett gets around a couple, looking for somebody to get back to, and just fall back towards his team. Somebody's going to have to settle this one. They're back just about where they started from. Against the Crimson. Here comes Hatasuka. Quick on the go here. Gets the ball to Estevez. Estevez doesn't have anyone to pass to at the moment. Takes in the contact. Another Harvard player there stuck, but able to roll away quickly. Corbett steps into the distributor role, gets it to Rosenmeyer, the try-scoring freshman. Across they come in the middle of the field. Noor has some forwards. Gets it there. They reset. Now going through their phase a little bit. Noor. One runner there has to turn back in. Eye on Provence.
You are fine. You need to roll away.
Born player. Plays some rugby in Singapore in his time as well. Referee here going to have a conversation with the Harvard Crimson, it looks like.
Step off. You have an injury, okay? Captain. So, let me explain this. The problem is in the rack. The players are too slow to roll away. I understand that sometimes they can't because they're arriving, but they need to try to roll away. Okay?
Hey, lads. Hey, Jack. Really important. You want to roll away more next week. We're getting fantastic tackles, yeah? If you guys do the work.
A player being attended to here. A Brown player down.
You good? All right, please. 2 more minutes.
While we wait for this player to be attended to by the great Kelly Teixeira, let's look back at some of the tries of the game so far.
Yeah, and they're all close quarters play. That man, Rosenmeyer, he's been really working hard. They just say they get the latch on. Once Brown get into the 5-meter channel, they are not going wide. They create the 2v1 there. Push over for a try. Very similar. This all came from a driving maul. This time Rosenmeyer's got himself free. Look at that big gap. All he has to do is fall over a line. But I'm sure on the bus back to campus, he'll be saying that was a 30-meter try, ran around a few people. But fair play to Rosenmeyer. Well done, that man.
Yeah, Rosenmeyer looking good so far here. They're taking a look at him.
Okay. Come back on.
Played with the Free Jacks Academy.
Roll.
Now the penalty against Crimson. Player is up and good to go.
Get the mark.
Just about a minute on the game clock.
Really surprised that Harvard have not had a yellow card so far. The penalty count is significant. But have they missed touch here?
Looks like they have. Players down, touching it down from the Crimson. Coach LaFlamme will not be thrilled with that.
Hold on. No. No, I talk to the players. It's not that time. It's my time. Okay, so you have 2 minutes or 1.5 now. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Yeah, kick it from here. Okay, so in goal drop out. It's in goal drop.
A goal line dropout for the Harvard Crimson. Ball has to go 5 meters.
Back, 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 back.
It launches this one, gets about 40 meters downfield to Tita Jua's hands. Jua looking for the corner there. Jua, 6 foot, 200 pounds. That offload goes to hand there. Cortafaria,
At advantage. No.
Uruguayan foreign player.
Roll.
Not rolling away again are the Crimson, and still no cards coming out here.
Okay. Captain.
See Corbett in the red scrum hat there, remonstrating a bit. I think he senses that as well. But where Harvard are competing at the ruck, now they're starting to find themselves off the feet, slowing the ball down, and that's where they're just getting caught, not rolling away. And Brown are smart to it now, so they're starting to keep their bodies close, so it's even harder to roll away. And that's why we've got this kind of bit of a slow game right now.
15 seconds. 15 seconds.
Do like their dogs at Marvel Field. Just inside the 22. Be a line out here for the Bears. Runners set up out wide there. Go to Corbett right at the front. Looking to drive another one, possibly, but ball's going to squirt back up there. Hachisuka, they get this sooner rather than later this time. As referee says that stopped once. Let's keep going. Hasso, ball in hand, gets it to Hachisuka. Hachisuka had a couple of runners out there. Big tackle comes in, big challenge. It looked like no arms wrap here. See if the referee wants to have a discussion. Certainly the Brown Bears do. Corbett asking for quiet there as we take another look.
So we look back, it looked like a no-arm challenge there. Absolutely no attempt to wrap. That's a very dangerous tackle. As you can see here, he tucks the elbow, no wrap. I'm surprised.
So hard to knock our camera out.
Yeah, that's very dangerous play. We don't like to see that in our game.
I would imagine that Kendall Carl is going to spend a little time on the bench. The history major from Lucas, Texas.
No, I understand what you said, but I didn't see the contact high. I saw arm chin tackling on the shoulder. That's why it's a yellow card. Okay?
Yellow card, scrum called for here by the Brown Bears. They want another 5 points before they take a break at halftime.
Yeah. Guys, 2 miles an hour, walking in. So here we go. Walking in, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Cadence here, boys. Cadence important. So guys, keep your profile, make them correct. Nice move. I'm with you.
Crouch!
Now with a man down in the scrum, I suspect this is going to stay in at Estevez's feet at number 8. Get a good shunt on.
Dangerous days here from Harvard. Players went down immediately. Referee has the hand up. Estevez always looking to run, but holds off on that one. I am guessing another scrum is going to be called for here, but Will McQuiston is down, and it took a bad one there to the 22-year-old computer science major, Prattville, Alabama.
A tough day in the office there in that front row for Harvard, and it's just the pressure. Although it's only 14 points now for Brown, I mentioned it earlier in the commentary, it's the accumulation, John. It just adds and adds and adds, particularly on a field which is very slippery. So yeah, Will McQuiston there, he's been taking a lot of a beating, but he's been standing up to it. He's been doing a great job.
Had a great week last week as well, and against Dartmouth. Corbett there, just talking to the team. Very wise player. Harvard seems to be getting their player back together.
Just as we look back at this no arms tackle there, that's very dangerous. It's the right call, so we need to wrap. Also, heads on the wrong side. We don't like to see those shots too much, but it's just a bit of gets his timing wrong. Rightly gets a yellow card.
Whiston seems to be leaving the field to a replacement coming on in the front row for the Harvard Crimson. We'll look at some of Estevez's runs here.
Just see the physicality of the Brown forwards, particularly. Harvard have been, as soon as that ball goes wide, Harvard have been chopping them down. Some great tackling and a lot to hang their hat on this half, but they'll be really trying to hold out from this scrum here. Replacement prop is now on. They're a man down. This is where character comes in, John.
It certainly does. It's going to be a tough one for the prop who's just been welcomed into the action deep in his own end. With a powerful Brown scrum coming directly his way. Referee Villalobos getting us underway. We're well over time here, so these penalties continue as the half cannot end on penalty. Good stance there from Harvard. Harvard squirting around. Hachisuka has a hold of it, gets a ball. They're looking a little wide this time. Cortabaria has a clean run to the line, and Cortabaria, Santiago Cortabaria touches it down for a try at the end of the first half here for the Brown Bears.
Yeah, pressure told there. So just from that big scrum, Harvard did well not to keep the ball in the scrum. They had to play the ball out wide. And for the first time this half, I would say that the ball stuck. It was a nice delivery to Cortabaria, and he manages to do what wingers do best, race into the corner for an important try for Brown, just as we look back at it here. So the ball scoots out, so really has to do, from his knees, excellent bit of skill. Then it's a catch pass, perfect pass. I mean, he won't get many easier tries than that, but Brown will be happy with that one.
JT Dyer, such an impressive player. Played for San Francisco Gold Gate. Summer in India working on sustainability projects. Now back with his squad here at Brown. Lonsanur lines it up. Most likely the last action of the first half here. Lonsanur steps. That one looks like it is just going to fall across the face of the post there, and that is going to be halftime. 19-0. The Brown Bears lead the Harvard Crimson. We're going to step aside for halftime, bring you back second half action in just a minute. Welcome back to Marble Field. We are in Providence, Rhode Island, where the Brown Bears are taking on the Harvard Crimson, leading 19-0. Powerful first half scrummaging from the team. John Broker here with the contact coach, Greg Wilson. Talk us through.
Yeah, so Brown really dominating the midfield, particularly through their forwards. And you can see here from these tries, as soon as they get into that 5-meter channel, they're really difficult to stop. Yet Harvard have been really dominant tackling in those wider channels. Just as we look here at Brown, their machine going to work. Look how they get that try this time from Rosenmeyer. But a lot to hang their hat on from Harvard. They've just got to avoid set piece this half, which is difficult in these conditions, because that's where Brown have got the big dominance, John.
There's the wider one out here. Cortapari is going to touch this down at the end of the first half after a number of penalties there. We talked about it a little bit at the break between ourselves, but, these penalties are just adding up for Harvard here. We're both surprised, there hasn't been a card for tackles like this, but also just for a number of penalties. So Harvard's going to have to be really careful.
Yeah, I'm sure there's been conversations from the coaching team, and potentially the Brown captain at halftime going, how many penalties there, sir? Just to ask the question, because Harvard's certainly been on the wrong side of the penalty count. But the referee's decision is final. So you just got to keep playing on and keep turning the screw if you're from Brown. And from Harvard, just really go out there as if you've got nothing to lose and really put it to Brown, who have all expectations to go deep into this tournament, let alone this game.
Referee Visha Lobos is ready to get us underway. You see Harvard Crimson in the black and red is going to be going of left to right on your screen. Right to left are the Brown Bears, the hometown Brown Bears. 19-0, looking to add to that tally in this half. Interesting to see what the messages were from Coach Colton Carriaga in only his second game with the Crimson. But really having an effect already. You see him attacking at the breakdown. Seems like he's just giving him advice to, where to go after these teams while he still builds.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a building project, and you can't fix everything at once. But it looks like they've got their defense down and their counter rucking, so they'll be looking to build on that.
They are one player short with a yellow card at the end of that half. As Estevez, it gets us going again for the Brown Bears. Out to his own 40-meter line, digging in are the Crimson, but can't get a hold of it. Hatsuka moves that one out. Rosenmeyer takes it into contact. Noor finds some space. Baldo is going to have to hang on to that one. Again, ball up high and loose there from the Bears. Noor is going to play the territory game. We are in slightly wet, windy conditions here due to Hurricane Lee. Running up the East Coast, ball back there to Estevez. Estevez gets that one away to Tito Ajua. Ajua almost gets away. Finds a runner and Noor steps a couple. Noor finally taken down by a bit of the mud. Gets the ball back up to Ajua. Suka gets the ball in the middle of the field to Dyer. Dyer gets to a couple forwards, but Baldo is the final recipient. Nice little tip passes from that midfield forward pod. Estevez just going to take that one forward a little bit, buy him some time. Suka to Dyer. Wide they go. Look at these channels. Can't quite hang on to it out there. Rosenmeyer winds up with it. A referee spots a knock on. It's be a scrum for the Harvard Crimson.
Yeah, a bit better from Brown. They're moving the ball from side to side, using their forwards, using their backs, and they're committed to the offload game. As we just look at some of the strong carries, but they're carrying a little bit upright, and that's where the balls are getting wrapped up, and that's where Harvard are getting these good challenges in. So that's just stopping Brown's momentum just that little bit. You can see the catch passes, the ball went a little bit wider. It's high risk, it's high reward, and it looked for all money that Lonsano was through here, but the field did him there with a slip or maybe a tap tackle too. A bit better from Brown. Once again, Harvard put the pressure on the wide channel, get the turnover.
Yeah. Well done. Now they have to scrum against this team. Rosenmeyer had a little head start there, so they want to get this up, make sure it's safe.
Sorry, John. It looks like they've added in the winger there to bring 8 men back into the scrum.
245 and 270 the props for Brown, taking on 220 and 255 in this Crimson team, and the Crimson up against it again. Ball comes back to the Brown Bears. Estevez as Owen right on him. Robbie Owens had a very good first half for the Crimson, has the number 8 British-born player, Jua, in the midfield now. They move it quickly out to Lance Noor. Lance Noor taken down, gets to Mertzel. Mertzel keeps it alive until some players come in to help the cause. Hachisuka's going to move this one away. Dyer is going to find a runner in the middle of the field. Well handled there eventually by Beeling. Not an easy one to take. Hachisuka gets the Brown machine going again. They move it a little wider through Lance Noor, but an errant pass goes into the hands of the Crimson. The Crimson at their own 22. Gonna box kick that one and move it back. Lance Noor has a hold of it. Very smart player out there. That ball just drifts forward off his hands. Elgin Dari thought he was away there, but we're going to come back. Looks like it was thrown forward to be a scrum for the Crimson.
I mentioned Harvard's number 12, Dan Erasmus, a few times now. I've been so impressed with his work rate and his tackling, just as we look back at Lonsoner, and yeah, that drifts majorly forward. And you can just see from a Brown point of view as well, they're all really flat, so that makes the pass extremely difficult. The Brown attack's just not functioning right now. They're trying offloads when they're not necessarily on. They're throwing the ball wide when they're not really running onto the ball. So definitely work to do from a Brown point of view. But unfortunately for Harvard, their reward is a scrum. And at this moment, it looks like they're going backwards. So we have to dig in, John.
Driven back again they are. Ball goes to the Brown Bears again. Working their way forward. Estevez has a hold of that one. Scrum completely broken up. There is a scrum penalty. Back, referee Villalobos is going to set it up there, but Estevez is going to go for a run. Estevez is inside the 22. Estevez gaining some good ground on the attack. Here are the Bears. They've got numbers out wide. If they can get it to him, Aduja moves it out there. Jua gets it back inside there. That's O'Donohue. O'Donohue looking towards the line. They're at the line, and try awarded. Brown Bears 4 minutes into the second half. Add to their tally.
Now that's Brown Rugby's DNA. Massive scrum. Estevez has got the IQ to know when the penalty was given, tap and go, and then he's deep into the half. This time he didn't offload the ball. They recycled it nice and quick. They got it through the hands. And if we look back on Estevez here, he didn't force the pass. Look at that placement. That was excellent. You got Brown all facing forward with a narrow defense. They pull the ball just in front of them there. It's just a little mispass across the face of that attacker. And then he just goes to absolute work here, O'Donohue, and he does great to get over from about 10 yards out. It's a wonderful try.
Great work from O'Donohue. New York City-born player. Played some of his high school rugby in England. Lance Noor off to the side here. Go through his ritual. Launches one. That one's good. He is good from the angles there. 26-0. Brown Bears lead Harvard 6 minutes in, and a slightly happier Coach Laflamme in frame.
Yeah, I would say only slightly, John. It's been hard going so far, but if you're going to look back, and I mentioned it just before, if you look at their DNA, that's absolutely it. And I wonder what he's writing on those notes. Probably carry hard, no offloads, maybe.
Yeah, something like that. Listen to contact coach. Kickoff to come here from the Harvard Crimson. Crimson can put together some points here. Suka, that one bounces there, a little pressure on him. A little spin by Estevez just to be able to get the ball down a little cleaner. Lance Noor puts one downfield. He is such a great raking kick. Rolls in a touch. The pressure's going to be on the Crimson down in their own end.
Yeah, that's a big play. Just really controlled. Estevez was heavily involved in that again. And then the big players are starting to step up now. Lonsoner just sits back in the pocket. He drills it down. He knows even though it's not Brown's line out, they've been getting the fair share of their turnovers today and just puts maximum pressure back on Harvard.
Ball up, winds up in Rosenmeyer's hands nearly. Soccer game breaks out here at Malvern Field. Dartmouth Harvard players down on it just a little bit quick there. Got a penalty against players for not leaving their feet, and Corbett's going to go quick this time. The referee Villalobos wants to come back, and JT Dyer calls to the ball.
It can come in when it's a penalty against your team.
It's a fairly extraordinary penalty count right now, and it's just Brown is starting to turn that screw. You can imagine that a driving maul is probably coming here, John.
Now they're coming.
You would imagine the driving maul comes here again, one of the hallmarks of this Brown rugby team for the past few years.
Unbelievable athleticism there. Better get out. Let's hope they don't have a dog. There's plenty around today.
Harvard player currently trespassing in Providence, Rhode Island. We're going to have a line out here for the Brown Bears. Corbett takes it to the front. Harvard players hanging off just a little bit. Now they join it. Brown be able to get this pressure on it, shearing off to that right-hand side. There may be a little room open there. It is, and they find it. They're going to have to go to the ground. 5. Nihola. I haven't seen a ton of the freshmen today. Playing in the second row for Harvard this week. Played in the back row last week. A little wrap around to Cortaparia. Cortaparia gets that one down. Running off to this right, left-hand side. Donahue not going to find the room this time.
Back.
But well recycled. They've now spread the field for everybody else. They've got some good runners coming in, but that one pops forward in the contact. Harvard has an advantage there, but they're at their own 5-meter line. Going to come back to the scrum, whether they'd like it or not.
Yeah, once again, good defense there from Harvard. They're really working that drift well. They've got good space and they've got good connection, and most importantly, they're sticking their tackles. And once that ball goes wide, for the attacking team, there's only two places you can go. You can kick it over the top, or you have to come in field. And Harvard spotting that. They're getting off the line, and they made a big tackle in the midfield with a slippery ball. A good shot can often lead to a turnover. It looked like it was number 19 there, Cullen Rogers.
Road.
Prop lined up there against
Bind.
Algin Dari. Replacement for Will McQuiston. Have to deal with this scrum, but it's going to come back. It's going to be a free kick for Brown coming in too quickly, so Harvard wisely just delays a little bit there and draws the free kick.
I think I was Harvard here. Just stick the biggest up and under you could possibly do. You don't want to kick it out. You don't want to scrum. Kick it high in the air, try and get under it, cause a little bit of chaos. Let's see what their decision is.
Tap and just launch this one into touch, so not finding much ground. It's going to be a line out for the Brown Bears. It's about 25 meters out from their own line.
Yeah, strange decision there. Like the line out really hasn't been functioning at all, particularly defensively from Harvard. They're just staying on the floor. They're waiting to compete, so it's pretty passive. So maybe keeping that ball in would have been a better idea, but they're out in the field. They're making the decision, so let's respect that.
Go to the front here after a couple of different moves. Step into the back. Referee Villalobos telling the players from Harvard they need to get back. But now they're allowed to come forward. Good drive here from the Bears or across the 22. Ball in the hand here. You see Ali Corbett come around the back. All of the dealing. Corbett comes in and cleans that one up. So the ball's on the ground. They're going to have a hold of this one. They're going to go to the backs. JT Dyer going to get it out there. Lonson Noor has a runner. Jua is going to get it out to the wing. Cortaparia has to make a break for it. Can he get there? He cannot. He's about 5 meters out. Good defense from the Crimson. Donahue looking for it. It comes in behind them. They're going to go to big ace or Rosenmeyer. Rosenmeyer offloads that one to Pitbaldo. Steps Henry Gabriel into the game. Another part of the Portuguese contingent. He's wearing number 16 is Henry, sophomore at Brown. U18 for Portugal. Is in the Harlequins Academy. He's a U18 in England during his high school days, now at Brown University. And here comes another try for the Brown Bears. It is that man we just talked about, Henry Gabriel, touching down.
Yeah, he's come on off the bench, adding a massive impact. He's obviously been watching the first half, saying, "Get me on there," and it just all came from that kicking the ball out from the line out, and then Brown just kept possession. And they just kept it tight. They've clearly spoken at halftime about not pushing that ball wide if it's not on. The pick and goes have been very prominent right now, just really targeting that interior defense from Harvard. And they've just got numbers around. They've got the power. And remember that Harvard are going to be very fatigued from the tackles they've been making before. Yeah, then the dam starts to break.
Henry Gabriel. Can't read it there. He's an applied maths and economics major, international and public affairs. At Brown. 8-0. Crimson to kick off here.
Omar, can you tell someone to go get the ball from the Harvard sideline? One of our match balls from the Harvard sideline.
Plenty of rugby left here. 28 minutes or so to go on our game clock. Red and Marble Field, beautiful Providence, Rhode Island. Put that one down. Estevez seems to come up a lot of these. Gets it to Corbett. Corbett puts a quick one in. Baldo eventually gets taken down. Casper with Baldo. Good work here from that man, Dan Erasmus, slowing that down for the Crimson. But ball's going to come back to the Bears. Bears now inside their 22. Gabriel has a hold of it. Dyer with a very strong boot, gets that ball up 50 meters downfield to the 50-meter line. Coming on to his Connor Burns for the Crimson. Connor Burns pops it up there to Cohen Hamana, New Zealand-born freshman. Gets a ball to the 22 for Harvard. Players just piling in there from Brown, it looks like. Coming from the wrong side, it's going to be a penalty for the Crimson just outside the 22. Guzman looking for that ball, see what they decide to do with this one. They may just keep this in hand. And they will. Guzman feeds it off into the hands of Will Haggerty. Haggerty gets his feet to the ground. Brown player's going to have to release him. Guzman's going to get that one back. Out into the hands of Charlie McCormick, wearing 21. A high tackle came in from Estevez. Referee blows a sharp whistle here. He may want to have a conversation with the Brown Bears.
Number 8. So there was a high tackle over there. Net 22 made direct contact with the head of the player. The player was falling down. That's why it's not a card, it's a yellow. Okay? So yellow, number 8.
And Estevez is going to get a yellow card for a second high tackle there. He's going to be off the field for 10, so an advantage here for the Harvard Crimson.
Yeah, just if you look back on this, it just got his tackle height a little bit wrong. You can see, just as he enters that contact there, he catches him above the shoulders. Yellow card.
Back in the action, ball goes over the top there. Javi Serra takes that one in. Harvard on the attack now outside the 22, down 28-0. 10 minutes with a player advantage. Maybe look at some points on the board. Ball goes back there off a Corbett hit on Guzman. Losing a little ground are the Crimson. Crimson out of the wing there. Himana. Owen gets that one in. Guzman feeds again. Go around the back of a pod there, looking for some space. Ball held up by Gabriel. We're back for an intentional knock-on against the Brown Bears. Now adding up against them as McCormick goes quick. McCormick steps the other way. Taken down by Geeling. Tony Zhao made the initial hit. Referee telling the players they weren't 10. They're going to have a word with Ali Corbett.
Don't listen to him. There's a mark. It's another extra 10. Back, please. There's a mark.
Little ill discipline in this period here from the Bears. Owen comes in, takes a big hit from Gabriel. Players slowing it down just a bit. Picked up there by Guzman, but ripped away by Gabriel. Referee says illegally so.
You are fine. That's not a problem with you. You did good. When the number 9 picked up the ball, he intentionally slapped the ball from the hands forward. Yes, that's what I'm telling you. So that's what happened. Now, there is a couple of fracture when you're under pressure. Okay, so take your time and take your time.
No jackal there, sir. I couldn't get the ball because he was holding on. And that's what I felt. Just
for me, you wasn't on the ball, you was on the player.
Okay.
That's why, okay? Hold on.
Yeah, it looks like Brown just got very indisciplined over his 5 minutes, and it's testament to Harvard. This is the best possession that Harvard has had this whole game. This 5-minute period, they're keeping it tight, they're asking questions of Brown. And one thing, if you look back on Brown for the last couple of years, they do get frustrated with themselves and the referee, and Estevez has now got a yellow card, Ollie Corbett, he's given away a few penalties. So you just need a little bit cooler heads right now from a Brown point of view. But also, they've just given away 5 penalties in a row, and again, referee could have quite easily given a yellow card there, John.
Allows the Brown players to set back up. A pod of waiting forwards for the Crimson at their own 22. Ball off to the left-hand side, looking for a runner. They can't really break that line, but a nice run for the Harvard Crimson. Ball up into the hands of little Carl there. Ball plays out wide. Charlie McCormick in number 21, looking for some runners. He's got some ideas. Going to come around the back there. Little missed tackle, able to get the ball away. Little Laszlo Samle, number 23 now in the game for the Crimson. Penalty against the Crimson this time. Players not releasing, so Brown will get a chance to relieve some pressure, relieve some penalties, and hopefully cool down a little bit.
Yeah, it just got a little bit edgy there that last 5 minutes or so. Brown, they eventually get the penalty. Brown, they survived Harvard's kind of best series of possession there. Just as we look back, there was an opportunity potentially that had to go on the outside. And then you've just got big players there. Got himself in position. I think that's 2 turnovers now. Was it that man, Tito Ajura, was it? Who was on the ball? Yeah, that's 2 turnovers now. It's a great technique at the ruck from that man.
Brown pushes it downfield just inside the Harvard half. Attacking opportunity here, and without their number 8, so Corbett will probably be the main target in the lineup. Gabriel stepping in there.
Closer. Come closer.
Joe Alhasso spot on with his throws today. Corbett, as expected, is going to come down with that one. Another drive coming from Brown here. Alhasso has a hold of it.
Hey, move!
Good drive coming through here. Players just tearing off the side there for the Crimson. Trying to reach around and get in behind. Unable to. Tasuka had a player on him right there, so showed and had to take a run on his own. Trying to turn that one over. The referee says it's okay, let's play. Aldo steps in that distributor role, little tip pass in the middle of the field, and Henrique Gabriel is away. Henrique Gabriel hauled down to the 22, gets himself back up as he was not held. Smart play from the Portuguese native, ripped away illegally by the Crimson. Penalty here for the Bears.
Come on. I will talk to them now. I will do it. I will talk to him. Yeah. Just relax. Just relax. Yeah. Go. 9.
Referee telling Henrique Gabriel to relax. He's a fiery customer.
All right, so
I think he's added real value, Gabriel, once he's come on. He's been carrying hard. He hasn't been pushing the pass. He hasn't been offloading, and that's exactly what Brown needed. If you just look at Harvard, any team that's going to play them over the next few weeks has to be aware how well they compete, as we just see a yellow card there. I think
Adrian Guzman, who ripped the ball away from that ruck.
Yeah, probably came 30 minutes a bit late there, but extraordinary penalty count today. But Harvard's work, when they get it right at the defensive breakdown, has been excellent. They've really been causing issues, and that's something that when they look back at this video review, you can hang your hat on. You're like, yep, that's something we can really build on. Good work from Harvard.
Rosenmeyer getting attended to there is going to come off the field. Substitute coming on for the Brown Bears. They have a good bench in Garrett Mann and Mike Lau. people to choose from.
And that's one of the strengths of Brown is their depth. That just turns the screw as you're going into the last part of this game. Just bringing on fresh legs who are going to add energy.
Dyer launches that one into touch. It's going to be a line out for Brown. Just about 15 meters out from the Crimson line, 28-0. Around 3/4 of the game gone here.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, you can jump.
Yellow cards there. You see 54 minutes for Brown, 59 minutes for the Crimson. Crimson without their scrum half. See how they handle this.
Just play. Yeah.
Alhasso looks there. They go right to the front to Corbett. Corbett, safe option. Driving forward once again in the maul. Slowly working their way forward towards that line. The intensity picks up, the speed picks up of this maul. Ali Corbett just screaming at Alhasso to keep this going. Crimson player sneaking up the side there. Can't get away with that one, but straight through the line they come. Not going to make it. Maybe turned over here by the Crimson. Back for a penalty. Player seems like it was pulling down the line out.
And the incredible penalty count continues here.
Jumper. If the player's in the air, don't touch him. You can play the ball, but don't grab the player, okay?
So we look back at the line out there. It says he's in the air. He's not playing the ball. See how he's playing the Harvard players, playing the arm of Ollie Corbett in that red scrum hat. That's enough to be a penalty. We're going to start again.
At the 5 meter line this time, Corbett comes down with it, looking to go the same route are the Brown Bears. Starting to squeeze forward from a little closer, and they get this moving. Referee says it's fine, you can keep going. Harvard players trying to call in some new blood here, but they're over the line of the Brown Bears, touching it down on the ground. It looks like it's going to be an Ollie Corbett try. Good work there by the Brown Bears. Another 5 points for the good, with the forwards just stepping up again.
Yeah, if you're going to draw a Brown try up, it is the driving ball, and that's exactly what we've seen here. Harvard knew it was coming. That's why they did not compete in the air. They wanted to get a solid base, but they initially put a lot of really good pressure against Brown, and then they just turned the screw. They waited for that slight crack, and it's like water finds the nearest path. As soon as that crack happens, they all pile through, and it's just completely unstoppable from that stage.
Good points here. Made to work for it again are the Brown Bears.
Absolutely. Nothing's come easy at all for Brown. We mentioned it a few times, testament to Harvard. It may not feel it for them, conceding 5 tries now, but there's been a lot of good points, particularly around the breakdown and their wide defense. Not many people are going to stop Brown from that distance out, John.
Lansanur looks that one up. That one is no good. Score continues to roll here for the Brown Bears.
1.5.
They were 59 points last year. See where they can get to now. Crimson to kick this one off. More than 3/4 of the game gone here. It looks like it's going to go Brown's way. Saving some big changes. They still have to get Estevez back on the field. Replacements bench to use here. We'll see how they both work with those ones. Brown launches one downfield. It's inside the 40-meter line of Harvard. Harvard show and don't quite go. Not really happening there for Connor Burns. Well, we want to take that one back, but able to recycle they are. Robbie Owen to the back there wearing number 8. Guzman off the field, their regular scrum half. So people having to stop in there. Well, knocked down, knocked forward and back. Referee is allowing them to play, but going to whistle here. We're going to back here for a knock on against the Crimson. To be a scrum for Brown.
Yeah, that was a tough one. It looks For all money, it was going to kick, potentially went for the dummy, and then the field made one of the great tackles. He slipped over, he couldn't get it away, and then it was a bit of a rush box kick. As we said, Guzman is off the field, number 9, who would regularly be kicking in that slot. Didn't go so far, but Harvard had a slight opportunity to get that ball. As they tried, knock on. It's a Brown scrum, and it's in a very wet area of this field as the referee moves it across to try and find a bit of purchase for these players.
Estevez is still off, so Corbett slips into the number 8 role. There's an open flanker over there, so we're going to have to make sure the ball gets worked back properly.
Boy! Let's do it again. That's fine. Don't bind on the shoulder, please. Long bind, okay? Listen, when I say bind, you need to put your shoulder in, okay?
Referee just talking to the players. Getting them set there in the scrum. Corbett at the back again, just burning down some time here. They'll be happy to get Estevez back on the field eventually.
Sit!
Look at the power coming in, and that prop is just up off his feet there. Surprised the penalty didn't come quicker as they work around the back. Some runners out wide here if they can get it, and they have done. Good break of the width here. A little pass back to Jua. Doesn't go to hand. Connor Burns comes in. Referee is going to penalize Brown for not releasing there.
Once again, the drift defense really working well for Harvard. It's been certainly been a strong part of their game, and they managed to squeeze the turnover out from a Brown point of view as this ball stays in.
Ball well held in there, and Jua is going to get a hold of that one. Lance Neuer is going to take it inside his own 22. On the run, they are looking for some space, moving to the cross field, eventually going to have to take into contact. That one slips up, and you don't want Dan Erasmus to have the ball. The freshman number 12 for Harvard takes that one in. It's a high tackle there. Just to slip in, nothing dangerous in that, so it's going to be a penalty here for the Crimson.
Best field position for a while. Expect to tap and go, keep this ball in at all costs.
They've brought Estevez back on the field. On that quick attack, as you said, Craig, are the Harvard Crimson with McCormick stepping into the distributor role here. Charlie McCormick from Pasadena, California. Social studies and human evolutionary behavior major. And there they go, and over the top is Ajua. Ajua, great work around the ball there. We'll see what this whistle is for. Look clean from here. Players penalized for Brown.
I'd like to take a look at this one. That, for all money, looked like a beautiful turnover. Maybe is it the player rolling away? The tackle and rolling away, but in terms of a jackal, that was awesome. Let's listen in.
There's a couple of things that happen after I blow the whistle. Yeah. It's just, your player is just keep the ball away and then throw it away, and then him reacting and pushing the players. Right? Just talk to the player. No matter.
So I just wanted to ask about, actually, I'll leave it.
Okay.
Referee Avisha Lobos just has a word with both of the teams here. And just to calm down and play some good rugby, it's going to be a penalty for the Harvard Crimson. As the contact coach has pointed out, they're going to keep that ball in hand. They're not going to go to set pieces here against the Brown Bears. They're going to try to keep this one alive and run where they can. That meant Dan Erasmus gets involved again. Second game as an American college player. Ball up to Robbie Owen. Robbie Owen whipped back by Ollie Corbett. McCormick needs awaiting forward. Penalty against Harvard for not releasing. Better work this time from the Bears. Little chance to take some pressure off.
Been a real battle today at that breakdown. Both teams really having a go at the ball as it stays in.
Harvard keeps that one in. Well done. Gonna go to the kick here, try to put it back downfield. Bounces in. Back on it is Estevez in his return to play here. We've got Lonsanur with him. Lonsanur puts a little acceleration on there. Tries to step a couple. Lonsanur across the 40-meter line. Player not rolling away this time for Harvard. Will Haggerty caught there, and Estevez looks to go quick and looks to make an impact now that he's back on the field. Well set back. Alhasso, however. A little bit of a messy one in here. Referee's going to come back.
Hold on. Come on. Listen. Hey, hold on. That was intentional. The player was trying to roll away, and you hit it. It's still a penalty. You need to roll away faster, please, okay? And so, step up. Listen, it's a warning for your team. Too many infractions, not rolling away, okay? Yeah. No. Hold on. Yeah. Sorry. Hey, it's a penalty against
Guzman
the team.
coming
You
back on the
can't-
field
I mean,
for the
you need to
Crimson.
wait. Listen, let me explain this. It's a penalty against your team, so you can't come in right now. Either kick it for laying out, then you're allowed to come in, okay? On the next stoppage, okay? Make sense? Yeah. Sorry, I made a mistake.
So it looks like we eventually got to a stage where 2 penalties in quick succession of not rolling away. Guzman's time is up. As we know, he can't come on if there's a penalty. But oddly enough, he's going to be able to run back on now. So you're going to see Guzman running straight back over, just getting those extra reps in.
Getting a few extra steps today is Guzman.
Yeah, it'd be good for his GPS unit for sure. Here he comes.
Familiar sight for the Brown Bears. A line out inside the 22 of the opposition. To the front court they go. The rolling maul. Favorite tool of this Brown Bears team. Already up by 40, looking to add to the lead. Henry Gabriel takes it ahead. Ball out to Dyer. Dyer, middle of the field to Lonsanur. Lonsanur steps a couple, tries to hand someone off. Not the biggest player, Lonsanur, but certainly can find his way around as they go wide. Ball slips back in there to Estevez. Referee is going to bring this one back. Probably an offsides against the Harvard Crimson, I would imagine.
In the mall. We're lifting the player. Hold on, it's over here.
The referee, I just heard, gave Harvard a team warning. So I'm really surprised. So next penalty, it should be a yellow card.
Push us
I'm
straight,
surprised he hasn't given it. I think he maybe forgets or...
Yeah, surprised as well. Some of these would come out, but they're going to kick it away. It's going to be a 5-meter line out here for the Brown Bears. We have been down here in this half, and it's worked for them.
Okay, that's what happened.
Another dog of the field here at Marvel Field. Certainly dog friendly today as the drive comes on from the Bears. Crimson the back again, and it is just wide open there for Hachisuka. That one was no problem, no defender. Well spotted, well taken.
Yeah, if you notice this one from Brown, they were pretty smart on this one. Corbett, they just kept him up. The lifters kept Corbett up that little bit longer. To date, they've been just going straight down into their drive and maul, but they waited. That then put Harvard slightly off balance. Then when they came down, Harvard sucked into the maul to try and stop it. And then that space there just opened up. He won't get an easier try than that in his career. You can see they're completely committed to defending that maul as you have to, because it's been dominant the whole game. And then it's just absolutely wide open. Try in the corner.
Hachisuka from the Woodlands, Texas, but went to Shawnigan Lake School up in British Columbia. Big rugby stronghold up there on the west coast of Canada. Not surprisingly, also an ice hockey player.
Absolutely. It's in the blood up there.
Lonsanur taking his time here. That one slides in. It is good. Full 7 points off of that one for the Brown Bears. Time left in the game.
As we just look back on that maul, it's been devastating effect this game and also the last 2 seasons, if we're going to be honest, for Brown. But let's just give a little credit to Lonteneur. He is kicking them from all over the field. That's 2, maybe 3 kicks from this wide angle, under the soft footing as well. So big shout out to the kicker there, Raphael Lonteneur.
Happy faces among the Brown team there as Harvard gets set to kick off again. 66 minutes gone, 14 minutes left in this contest. Harvard will want to get some points on the board here. It lost to Dartmouth last week. Penalty against Harvard coming in from the side. Referee not giving the card again.
Excellent kick down right deep in Harvard's half. It just cannot catch a break right now. And the first half defensive heroics, I think, is starting to play its toll here. They're getting fatigued. That's when the penalties start giving away. That's when you lose territory. And when you've got set piece after set piece against this Brown juggernaut, it just takes its toll for sure.
Ball up as Estevez can't handle it. The wind took that one away. Hurricane Lee starting to join the proceedings here in a bigger way. Ball goes back to Harvard. They're under a little bit of pressure there. Balls are ripped away by Pitaldo. Pitaldo, a London-born player, gets it down. A little pick and go from these Brown forwards. Able to roll that one away. Keep it tight. Going to go behind Gabriel. Long looper there to Lonteneur. Lonteneur gets to Cortabaria. Cortabaria gets to O'Donoghue, but he can't quite handle it. Jua comes in over that one, but Harvard's going to take this one away. Ball sent back there. They're deep inside their own 22. Have players coming in on top of them, but referee's going to come back with a knock-on advantage. Be a scrum here for the Harvard Crimson.
When they look at the analysis of this game from a Brown point of view, they're going to be spending a lot of time working on that 15s channels from the 15-meter line to the wide channel, because it is broken down considerably out there between the backs. So the forwards are giving them a lot of opportunity. The backs aren't quite taking it right now, but look, game 1 for Brown, I'm sure they're going to be better for this experience.
Change is made there. Ali Corbett is off the field.
Crouch!
Zhao is moving on the second row there.
Boy!
Roast Dolnick is in the game wearing number 20.
Okay. No head-to-head, please. I'm buying.
Dolnick, a freshman from Larkspur, California, with Marin Highlanders.
Second!
3 freshmen getting this game time today for the Bears. 3 as well for Harvard. Bodes well for both programs. They continue to look to the future. Referee's going to bring this one up. We're going to reset.
Yeah, it's important that they get the freshmen game time right now, because come November, December, the attrition of a full season behind you, you're going to need
It's
that
okay,
bit.
no, but just call me first. Don't stand up right away. Okay? Yeah,
They're a little bit different down there.
okay. Gentlemen. Gentlemen, let's come over here.
Second!
Scrum here for Harvard. Not gotten the better of Brown in this area, so we'll see what happens. Estevez looking at his options. Should the call ball come back to him on a defensive scrum? That's a bit of confidence there. But here it comes. Hatsuka has a hold of it. Hatsuka looking towards the line, looking for his second, but not going to get there. Good work by Harvard to gain it over, but a penalty here against the Crimson right at the 5-meter line.
Back in!
And Brown Bears call for the scrum here. We hit the 70-minute mark, about 10 minutes left in the game, and they go back to their power right here. We'll see if they can push this one over.
Yeah, I'm going to take a guess that they're going to go for a strong scrum. Estevez is going to keep it at the back of his feet.
Let's go!
He's going to try and keep it in. But then again, he might have Chisuka, that left-hand side, it's wide open.
Crouch.
Certainly does. We'll see where they decide to go.
All right, let's do it again. That's fine. Stand up. Stand up. That's all right. Let's sit up again. Let's sit, yeah, let's sit again. That's fine.
Well, it's tight. You've got to be fucking tight.
Crouch. Boy. Sit.
Referee Villalobos bringing us together one more time here. Ball in. As the contact coach said, it's at Estevez's feet. We have a penalty here and a big whistle coming. Player from Harvard may be going to the bin.
Hold on. Hold on.
I actually think
Let me explain this.
bent
I
over
stopped it-
completely
I
there, and
stopped
the
it
referee
because it
was
was
slightly
dangerous, but
concerned
it's
for his
a
safety.
penalty
He
try.
did not
You
look
can
in a good
collapse.
position.
You understand that?
I hope he's okay.
You understand that? The half and row.
He's going to award a penalty try here. So full 7 points coming because they would have scored if that wasn't collapsed. It usually comes with a card, but we'll see what he does.
I don't think he's going to be giving cards out today. He's given 2 cards for high tackles, but he's not interested in the accumulation of penalties. It's been the same for both teams. You've got to be fair. But Harvard are certainly on the other side of the tackle count right now.
Harvard Crimson going quick here. Want to finish off these last 8.5 minutes with a little bit of power. Do the Crimson. They build under new coach Colton Carriaga. At Dartmouth last week and Brown this week to get a look at where he is in the Ivy League and the Liberty Conference here in the Northeast. Ball down to Harvard. Launch that one into Lonsonour's hands. Lonsonour steps one, looking for some room. Lonsonour steps another. Lonsonour finds a 50-meter line. He's going to keep going. Lonsonour tries to bounce off a one, but can't quite get there. They're at the 40-meter line of the Crimson. The Brown Bears have their attack on. Ball out from Hachisuka to Dyer. Jua shows to one person, goes around himself. Sizable fella at 6 foot 220 or 200.
Fine.
Players look offsides to me there for the Crimson, but referee's gonna let it go as Harvard's gonna, certainly Brown is gonna stay inside a little bit. Ball to Alhasso. Lonsonour in the first receiver role, little step back in there. Big, powerful run coming from the Bears. Jasuka has runners off the left-hand side. Lonsonour is going to chip that one forward inside the 22. Pressure on the Crimson. Crimson keeping that one alive. Looking to kick it out. It's going to go line out here for Brown. And that is going to be the end of our game. Rounding out here at 80 minutes at Marvel Field. A little bit of time left on the clock. The referee was keeping it there, so it's going to be a 54-0. Brown is going to beat the Harvard Crimson here at Marvel Field. What a matchup. Good result at the end there for the Brown Bears.
Yeah, bit of a shaky performance from Brown overall, but their forwards, as you'd imagine, that set piece did a great job.
All right, well, thank you so much for joining us. We'll look at a couple of highlights as we move out here. Thank you to Brown and Harvard for the contest, Liberty Conference, National Collegiate Rugby, and the Ivy League. Good matchup today between the Brown Bears and the Harvard Crimson. For everybody at Next Level Rugby, showing you how rugby should be shown in the United States. Our camera operators, Mike Baker in the technical seat, the man with the rugby plan, Ryan Ginty taking it. It is Craig, the contact coach Wilson, contactcoach.com. Go check him out. And John Broker is saying, have a good afternoon, and we will see you soon. Next Level Rugby, the way rugby should be shown.